Hello together.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello,
Klaus.
Robert.
Hi. Yeah, welcome to this episode. And today episode of Fun with Relux is about focus light.
Yes.
Or what is the other English nouns we have found?
Illumination.
Illumination,
But
yeah.
illumination is a little bit more, in the sense, a little bit more wide.
Yeah, it's just
It's
illuminating
not-
something. Yeah, but this episode should be about focus, which means narrow lights to illuminating something, to highlight something, to make in focus and contrasts, to not be just homogeneous, to have really something specialized, something unique in focus, in perception, that you can see something. Like in retail. So if you have an illumination shop on shops or on museums, artists, galleries, something where you need to highlight something, then this episode will help you. And we will show you what you can do in ReluxDesktop in terms of focused light to highlight something, to focus an element. Then we can show you what is possible in ReluxDesktop.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
also a little bit different to standard projects, that you have more or less each luminaire has an individual adjustment to a specific point in the scene or a part of the scene. And not like we have it in the most other situations where we have only mounted the luminaires on the ceilings, and they are, as Robert says, gives only one standard illumination for a complete scene or room or something like that.
Yeah, this is a good point. It's focus light is off the standards, so there is no standard how much illumination you need to have on a object you want to highlight with light. This is more about stage lighting. It's about contrast, and there's no really an value set which you can adapt to, and also there's just no standard. It's about more the visual aspects, more the perception, and not the current or the perfect sanitization environment. It's really about it should look good. It should focus what you want to highlight as a lighting designer, and this is more about the real lighting design to work with light and to highlight stuff. Yeah, so there's less values. If you are in need of some values, the contrast, the difference between bright and low level areas cannot be high enough. So contrast is a goal in this kind of lighting design. You need to have high contrast in order to see something different. This is complete opposite of what you learned with 12464 and standards, that it has to be in high uniformity, that it has equal all the time. Equalness in light is a bit of boring. It's no accent, it's no highlight, it's less contrast, it's less focus. To focus, we need some differences in lighting in the room. And of course, we can still also maintain a standard for the rest of the room, but if you highlight, it's not about a standard. Don't try it, just go for a good visual impression. Okay, we have a lot of stuff to show you today, and we will start with an indoor scene. So I switch on the screen sharing here. Good. And here you can see one of the standard rooms which I created for the real-time rendering. You found this sample file, almost the sample file without the statue. You found this file in ReluxDesktop. In the starting screen, there is an option Help on the side panel, Help, and then you have sample objects or sample projects. And if you
Show.
No, not here. No. I wanted to
Okay.
disturb the scene. Maybe later, but there's an option where you can just open with your ReluxDesktop installation, where you can open this file, except of the statue. The statue you can enter and download by ReluxNet. In ReluxNet we have a 3D option, objects catalog, and this statue is from our ReluxNet 3D object library. So it's almost the same. Here's a standard situation where we have maybe here in Relux 2D, we have on the ceiling, we have 4 spotlights, and we have 1 light on the bottom. I try to show it to you. It's not easy. Here we have an lumina on on the floor, also to show what happens if we have light from the floor. Mainly lights are coming from above, which is also a good choice. And yeah, and here we can try out and find the best solution to illuminating to focus this statue. So the job is to focus the statue. And before we go into this, here is the real-time rendering. You can enter real-time rendering in ReluxDesktop just by this button. Give it a try. It's for free and it's fantastic, especially for this focused light situations. And yeah, and if we want to start, we need to switch off the sun. The sun is one of the brightness sources ever, so it's really hard to compete against the sun with anything which is artificial. So also don't give it a try. It's impossible to deal with sunlight. If you have daylight, it's impossible to make focused light. Depends if you can shut down the natural lights, then you can have some effects. It's the same with projection and so on. The sun is just a really high source of light energy, which is fully nice in a lot of occasions, but to have contrasts, sun destroys all contrasts. Okay, I just make it in a night situation here. So now we have night, and we can also see we have already, this was not intended, already an active spot. I just want to go down with the spot and show you one spot after another. Now we have, okay, now we have a beautiful night scene, which is good. I want to start here in ReluxDesktop by showing you the options, what we can do with spotlights. So most of the spotlights came with some options to align, to adjust, to have a tilt and aiming, not just tilt, an orientation in rotation and tilt. So you need to adjust the luminance with the spotlight, especially if you have this sharp focused spots like I have here. This is one of the most sharp spots I could find in our ReluxNet library. I guess this is from Erco. This is about 2 degrees or something. So really, really focused, really, really tiny. And this is great. And tiny spotlight is fantastic if you have if you want to having an focused shadowish light. So if you want to have a high contrast and high gradients to the rest of it, then this sharp spots is perfect and cast a lot of shadows. You have more shadows if you have a tiny spot, a tiny source. If you have a big source, then you have less shadows. And sometimes you want to have shadows. Shadows is something which makes a deepness of objects, which brings objects in the 3D stage, which will make it plastic, more useful shape. With shadows, without shadows, everything is flat and boring and and simple. And shadows is some kind of an high contrast element which you should be aware if you're going to focus light. And that's why in focus light it's good to have as tiny as possible sources for the light. And the size of the opening angle is something which is depending to the size of the objects. So of course, if you have a tiny object, tiny focus, but of course it makes also sense to have a wider opening angle versions if you have a larger object. And also the distance has of course an role. Here it's quite tiny. This is one simple small room, and that's why here and sharp focus is also needed. And I can demonstrate more if it's sharp, if it's wide. Okay, then we have here options to adjust it. This is something really nice in ReluxDesktop. You have here this aiming tool. Aiming tool, if you select it with Illumina, then you can literally aim the light, the focus. You can here aim, for example, to the wall, to the ceiling. You just click where you want to have the focus, and then the Lumina, the Lumina in also this geometry of the Lumina follows what you want to highlight. So, and you can also here pick one of this and rotate it. It's not the best rotation I have done here. Yes, this is better example. Yeah, of course it's also here. And here we move the complete lumina. This will break the lumina here on this socket. That's for we need to switch this one, or here I can also select directly the head of the lumina. and can manipulate it here directly, just the head without the arm, let's say. And with this focus light element, it's also make it automatically that it's just rotate what is possible to rotate. So it's just the geometry, it's just the look of the luminaire. But of course, this is also, if you have an aesthetic room, it's also important that you have an aesthetic rotation and tilting of the luminaire according to the geometry options of this. So, okay, but let's focus again to the statue. Something like this. Okay, there's also tons of options in regard of displaying not just the LDC, playing an angle, in arrows. This makes also sense in a lot of occasions. Also, you can adjust a lot the LDC. It mustn't be this LDC. You can also adjust it in the settings. What is the size about this? So there's a lot of options. I will not go deeper. Maybe Klaus has some time to show you a bit about the angle options. I want to concentrate here on what the direction of light has, which kind of focus. And I can really recommend a book if you are interested in shadow, in direction of light. There's a book from the manufacturer Erco called A Handbook of Lighting, quite generic title. This is an older book. It's not available anymore in a print publication, but it's available on their website. On the Erco website, there's in some section the option to download the PDF of this book for free. You just need to sign in to Erco, but it's also for free. And it's also available in English and in Spanish, I have to say, in Spanish, German, and English. And this is one of the best sources, the best source I found at the moment regarding focused light, directions of light, and what is the effect on which position of light, and so on and so on. So good resource. Okay, so let's start with investigating what happens if we have different directions of focused light. So let's start with the back. Back is something where you not can see direct the front of it, of course, because you have just light from the back. This means you just see some aura, you see something. You see there's something in the way. There's a cast of a shadow a bit, but you cannot really recognize the face. You cannot really recognize the front of it. You can just see there is something with a kind of with an aura, with something light which is just on the glimpse between the shape of the shape, so the other shape of the shape, and this is something mysterious. This is something where you can just recognize there is something, but you cannot really see what it is. And this is something it's something mysterious, which is something unknown. You see something which is unknown, which is not recognizable. This is not used quite often, but this is an element which you can think about to use it. And in combination and backlight and back spot in this kind helps a lot to make the model to make the object more plastic, more 3D in a way. If we turn it more up, then we see a bit of more back flipping, a bit of more indirect part, and we see more the wall on the back. This is also one option, that you eliminate the wall on the back. It has a similar effect, but not with the strong, let's say, shape here on the edge. Okay, this is the back. Then I have one luminaire from the floor, so from above, from below. Below is something also really weird. So if I switch it on, if you have some light from the lower part, then it's also something unnaturally. So light comes usually from above. So humans are used to have light from above, from the sun, from the sky, in the diffuseness. If you have focused light from below, then something is weird. Something is wrong. It's feeling not naturally. It feels a bit of weird. It also can horrify. It can also be afraid people, especially faces. If you have light from above, looks strange and not real. And it's also an effect. Maybe you have seen, it's time ago, but you can also have and flashlight and focus flashlight and turn it below your face to horrify children in a Halloween situation or something like this. You can having a spooky face if you have light and focus light, especially from above, with cast shadows in the face. So this is something. It's not really good to see here. Therefore, the face is too far away and the angle is too flat. With a stronger angle from below, you have this more effect of a spooky face. Combine it with green and everything is really spooky. This is one option, not really used, not just in case of the installation, which is a bit of weird to install something on the floor. It's also something which helps to prevent a bit of shadowing, but it's not really common to make light from below. Light from above is more common, so for especially here the front luminaire, this is the straightforward situation to illuminate. And is the back still on? I want to have the back off. Yeah. The front, if I have just light from the front with from a longer distance, then we have the classical focus light situation where we have light in the front, in the middle, and this makes a high contrast, especially if nothing else is illuminated. You have a clear focus on this object. This means everybody in the room needs to see this statue. You can steer where the perception, where the user of the room is looking to with the light. So this is something which is also fun in lighting design. You can control where the people are looking, what the people can see, what the people can consume in this room in terms of visual effects. And if you have just one spot on this is really the highest contrast you can do. But it's also has a situation where the shadows are just in one direction and where the object looking potentially, depends on the object, flat and not really plastic, not really 3D. It can be just flat and look simple and not really three-dimensional. And this can be helped if we add some lights from above, from the sides. So this is also quite common, especially on statues, on faces, that you have some light from the sides. So I will turn on lights from both sides. This also helps to prevent shadows. It's maybe a bit of too strong. I also make the front off. Now we have just lights from the sides. This makes objects more plastic, more dimensional. We can see different kinds of shadows. We have not just one shadow, we have a mixture of different shadows overlaying each other. If we combine multiple spots from multiple directions, this makes the object more plastic. So we can really see all tiny aspects of it in contrast to just flood one source of direction to other object, which makes it just more flat. Maybe I can show with bringing back in the front a bit. Yeah, you can see it's now more boring, more flat. If I just putting the front on it without the sides, hard to see. Maybe it's another kind of shadow from the front. So if you have issues with shadow, if you don't like shadows, then combine multiple directions of it. And of course, you can also combine it with a bit of back to have a bit of a highlight on the edge to the lower situation, to the back. And also you can also combine it with it's not really common, but it's also possible to combine it with some light from below, also to have control of the shadow situation. But this is something which you need to adjust on-site, which you need also to dim on-site. So this is just a rough estimation in this visualization. It's not the real world. So you cannot go with these dim values to on-site and have the exact same effect. This is not really working. You have to do it on-site to dim, to steer into the situation which you want to have, which you want to acquire. Okay. What is also possible in RELUX is to colorize. It's something just roughly on the side. I want to do this maybe just with one. Let's take the front one and just make a color of it. It's possible here to dim. I guess not here directly. We need to do this.
So you can change the RGB slider.
Okay, I have to change the RGB. Okay, yeah. Now I'm in the mode, and now I can pick in color. Now I want to where I can do it. It was working before. Now it seems. Okay, sorry. It's just on the other screen. This I was searching. Here we can set a color temperature to it. So maybe more warm whites or in specific color, and also in spectral distribution, and put it to it. And then you can also try to work with colors. This is a bit of advanced. I would not recommend to do any colors. It's really hard to deal with colors in an aesthetic way. Let's keep it short. It's quite powerful. So be careful. Huh?
Do it here in the background.
Yeah. On the background, it's something different. But if you make
that's
a focus spotlight within color, be careful. It's powerful. You can do a lot, and do not mix up too much colors. Stick to one, and just some simple warm white, cold white. It's mindful enough. Okay, this is the situation with focus light, and of course contrast to focus light is also diffuse light, so it makes sense also to add a bit of diffuse artificial light into the room to just see the rest of the situation a bit. But this is something where you can play with the contrast, how much focus you want to spread, and this is more fun if you have multiple statues to say, okay, I want to have it equal, or have a highlight on one statue, whatever. You understand the story. Okay. Good, enough time for indoor. Let's move to an outdoor scene. I just helping Klaus by opening up the next file we have for you.
Yes, vielleicht.
One?
Yeah, it's okay. Just want to show when we are here at the situation. From help. Here you will find the sample projects you Robert before told you. From here you will
the spot,
and here the spot is the one which we have or Robert has shown before. Okay, but now here we are in an exterior scene. I have here a simple object which I have downloaded from ReluxNet, an architectural object. We have some in our library on ReluxNet, but you are also possible to download any kind of 3D model. You are also able to construct inside of the Relux some complex models of buildings or facades or something like that. And everything which what Robert told before is also valid for exterior scenes. So there's not really a difference about these rules and possibilities, what you can do about aiming and controlling the luminance. So for that, I first want to show you or remember you to another feature inside of Relux, and this is about the mirroring groups. We normally shown this or use this in exterior lighting for sports places or something like that. But it is also useful in situation of focused light or illumination of facades and buildings. And for that, I will here now create a mirroring group from around my tower about my bell. And this has now the advantage that I can now just simply, if I change the tilt moment.
That's the properties, not the dimming.
Here. So you have here also the possibilities. When you go down, you will find here under the option orientation, rotation, and tilt. And this has the advantage that this in the luminaires you have seen before in the interior scene, for example, you have different levels. So the highest level is the mounting level. So you can install your spotlight on the ceiling and or on the floor. And the adjustment happens in inner rotations of the luminaires. And this will be handled here in this controls automatically. So that's the advantage to use them. And now the advantage here about this mirroring group is, for example, I will now here make something extreme. I change this to 120 degree. You will now see that also all the other luminaires around in my mirroring group has the same tilt angle, and so it is easy for to use, or it may be helpful in some situations to use this inside of also for focused light. I will switch back to the angle before 170. Here is also a little bit one problem, or it's not a problem, because we are here shooting into the sky, so the size of the LDC and the size of the arrow is limited. And you have the possibility here in the properties of the 3D view to change this manually in the cases if you need it. If you are inside of a room or hitting an object or something, that there is the option that this size will be calculated automatically. And if I now run a calculation, it's running on another screen. Now it's run. We will now here see the results of the symmetrical illumination. We can also see it here, the 3D false color values, which gives us an idea which levels we have in each part of the room. We will also see here that here, for a real good illumination, some light in the top may be missing. So this is related to the design. Okay, and at least I want to show you an exterior scene, which we are with a big thank you to the planning office from Bamberger Ingenieure, engineers, and they give us a project which we can use, and maybe you will have seen it when you start the latest version of ReluxDesktop in the pop-up screen. You will see a picture of
our splash screen is covered
splash
with
screen
this,
of this castle. It's very famous. Maybe some of you.
This is the most famous German castle. It's Schloss Neuschwanstein in German, in southern Germany, and this is the famous castle. And this was planned by Planungsbüro Bamberger, and thanks for having this model. This is constructed as we can see it really just in ReluxDesktop with 3D objects. It seems so. So great work so far.
And here we now will see that we have here a lot of this focused light on this complete building. We will see, this is now also helpful, that we can see that here, depending on the product we are using, there are a lot of products in it. And here you can say also define for each type of luminaire the color of the arrow, which is very helpful if you are working with more complex scene. We have here also the possibility about the adjustment of the arrow related to the LDC. So this is especially important when you are working with asymmetrical flat light.
Normally it's just IMX, so the maximum.
Normally it's IMX, and normally the program will automatically find the correct value. But in some situations, it might be helpful to know that there is the point where we can change it. And if we now take here a look this is now the view in ReluxDesktop with the radiosity calculation. We can also check here the results in 3D false color. We will see.
Looks like really classical false colors. Huh? It's not our new false color scale.
No, this is. I guess it's stored in. It is stored in the project, but we can also use the more modern style. And at least we have also the possibility to show this in our real-time renderer.
No, the eye.
Here, this is. Yes. We are normally.
The ribbon is squeezed. Yeah.
And then we have here.
No, not zooming. It's away. Or take the camera from here.
So I'm a little bit more. Yes, and you will see that it is also here used.
Daylight is here. It's okay.
Yes, can you search?
You need to activate the. Yeah.
So then we can also switch here to a daylight situation so that you have seen the effect of.
Yeah, and you can see sun is the biggest spotlight.
Light.
Yeah, this it's impossible to deal with daylight.
Yeah.
Even if you have strong spots, strong luminas, sun is always winning. And of course, you have to think about, especially in situations where you light up about obtrusive light. This is something where you have certain values you need to cover, not to spend too much energy to the sky.
Yeah, this is a general problem in outdoor lighting with focused lighting, with illumination of facades or buildings or something like this. Is always in the conflict with the interests of the obtrusive light and clear sky or dark sky targets of this point. So, but this is another episode of with Relux. We already have it. You can also check this with ReluxDesktop, the effects of the obtrusive light. But our topic today is the focus light and
Okay, good. That's all what we want to show. So let's go jump into the questions. Oh, I can see we have also a technical issue. Maybe you can hear us but not seen the latest screen, but now you should see us again. Okay, good. Down to the questions. Can we have objects, brackets, tracks, connectors, specification list in report? It's often used in illumination projects. This is let's say, a gray area between luminas, where we have, of course, bill of materials, and objects like furnitures, which are also in a way displayed, but not in list of materials. This is in gray area, I have to say.
Yes, so, but we already have it on the feature list, but actually there's no not really a solution how to handle it.
Most of the users putting in tracks and tracks, mainly continuous line tracks, as an object into it, and it's also possible to count the objects and to display the objects, but there is no enlisting in a way of the used furnitures in a project. So this is not really handled well, but also not so easy to say, okay, we need to specify a new category of objects, which is count and has certain properties like brackets, connectors. This is not easy to do for the user and also for us to program it. Counting object is not an issue, but to mark objects with certain types is a bit far. So not at the moment not possible, but maybe later, or go to Revit, and there you have all the options to enlist everything and to connect. Next question.
Aiming points shown and exported. Yes, they are exported in the Excel file. I hope so, and they are also, sorry, I guess we already sharing, so I can show.
No, you don't share. You need to select here.
No, okay, that's my mistake. But it is also possible when you go to DVG export that you can. There's a special option for the luminaires that you can also export the aiming arrows into the DVG file.
Yeah. Good. And the last question we have at the moment.
Can you
share this model as a sample?
No. We have.
It's not possible. But there's another object. So you have seen where the spot RR file is in the sample folder. There's also an search, an auto search, where yeah, and bigger outdoor object where you can also have some samples with outdoor focus lights, spotlighting, outdoor shapes, forms of buildings. Yeah, so this is also a good example. And yeah, this is the only really public examples, I have to say. The rest of the samples we have are, yeah, not to disclose in a way. So this is something where we don't have the copyrights to send it out. But you can ask, of course, Bamberger, Planungsbüro Bamberger, maybe to help you. They have also an interesting website with a lot of interested outdoor lighting design projects, which is sent, and there you can ask the guys directly. Maybe they also share it with you, but not to the public, I guess. So
yeah. You will find on our homepage relux.com/blog. There is a short article about this project, and also a link to the from Bamberger Ingenieure.
Yeah. Good. That's all.
Okay.
Thanks for your questions. Yeah. Thanks for your time. Next episode is on the 20th of March. Yeah, also on Thursday, episode 44, and this is about Revit, our Relux Cat for Revit plugin.
There were some new features, some new updates we want to inform you.
Exactly, and this will be with Matthias, and he will show you what is new in the Revit plugin. Good, that's all from us today. Thanks much. See you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Okay,
bye.